Brought to you by...
Guilt can be a powerful thing. It can weigh on us, haunt our every waking moment, even seep into our unconscious mind and influence our nightmares. It can break us down emotionally, pulling us apart at the seams, until we have no choice but to atone for the things we have done and the mistakes that we have chosen to make. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. Today I'd like to discuss a film that I watched recently on Netflix. Taking place over the course of a single morning in a 911 dispatch call center, a former police detective who has been demoted to a 911 call operator, Joe Baylor, tries to save a caller in grave danger, but he soon discovers that nothing is as it seems, and facing the truth is his only chance to make it through this night. I was surprised to learn that this one is actually a remake, based on a Danish thriller of the same name, which Jake Gyllenhaal acquired the rights to back in December of 2018. The film went on to be directed by Antoine Fuqua in 2020. Principal photography began in Los Angeles in November of 2020 during COVID-19, and lasted around 11 days. 3 days before production was set to begin, a person in contact with Antoine Fuqua tested positive for COVID-19. Fuqua tested negative subsequently, so the production still went on as scheduled. He directed the entire film from a van, with screens that had access to the cameras, maintaining contact with the cast and crew the entire time. Not ultimately relevant to the plot, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless. Much like the isolated thrillers such as Phone Booth and Locke, this is a narrative that envelops you into its gripping tale without ever having to move beyond the confines of its single setting. The way the film tells the story is almost like an audio drama. It conveys tension and absolute real-world horror through phone calls, as we experience it alongside Joe, who is helpless to stop the situation that is unfolding. The cast of the film delivers strong performances across the board, even for the most minor of roles. Jake Gyllenhaal absolutely dominates the screen here, and it's worth mentioning that additionally, we get voice cameo performances from both Bill Burr, as one of the voices on the phone calling in and getting into an argument with Joe, and even Ethan Hawke as the voice of Joe's former sergeant. Gyllenhaal portrays this character of Joe with the tense and violent conviction of a man who has been punished for only doing what he felt was right in the line of duty. Admittedly, he himself knows that what he did was wrong and is trying to cover it up, as to not stop it from ruining his life. However, over the course of the story, we are privileged enough to watch as this character evolves, breaking free of that selfish mode of thinking. And Gyllenhaal does this beautifully. Like with all of JJ's performances, he pours his heart and soul into every aspect of this character, playing him with his full dedication, as he walks along the line between violence and vulnerability. Our protagonist is a man forced out of his own family, forcibly separated from his daughter. He is faced here with a situation that in many ways puts him face to face with a dark mirrored version of himself. Another man with a criminal past who has been taken away from his family and turns to an act of violent abduction in his rage. In a way, Joe is a man who is hunting himself, rabid to punish himself for his own sins. This abductor, Henry, is a physical manifestation of his own mistakes. Throughout the film, we see him constantly revisiting his phone, a photo of his daughter set as the lock screen. She herself is a mirror of everything that is good in him, a reminder of what he truly is deep inside. The plot twist of this film was fucking brutal, turning the table on the entire perspective of the story, and in the moment, it is utterly gut-wrenching. Though the story flips, so too does Joe's narrative. He goes from trying to fix his mistakes in life by hunting down a darker version of his own violent nature, and abandons it to try and desperately right his own mistakes that he has made on this night. And this decision is the catalyst that leads him to find the strength within himself to admit what he's done. In this moment, it feels that he is admitting to himself, as he uses what he did as a weapon to battle against the inner demons of someone else. The scene that really got me about midway through this film, I'm just gonna call it the Oliver scene. If you have seen the film, you know exactly what I mean. This scene cemented me into the story, and gripped me so fucking hard. And not just because I shared the name. Another powerful moment was when he was talking to Emily and trying to calm her down and get her to breathe. In the midst of it, he begins having a panic attack, and in trying to get her to breathe, he coaxes himself to breathe through it and overcome his ailment. I found it fitting that in this film's final moments, Joe finds himself facing his own reflection, one last time, before vomiting. It's somewhat symbolic of him expelling his own violent nature. Ultimately, my takeaway is that this is a film about reflecting on oneself, on things that we've done, and on the past that we need to leave behind, and even on the person we need to become. It's about coming to terms with what we have done, and it's also about acceptance. Well, friends, that's going to be all for now. Just a quick one today. This is an incredible film with a powerful and emotional performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. The plot for this one is a brutal and unforgiving roller coaster. I highly recommend checking it out if you're doom scrolling Netflix. Or you can add it to your collection by following the link down below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, subscribe for more content, and if you really want to help support the channel, come find us on Patreon. Until next time, stay safe. Don't hold on to your guilt. And as always, thanks for watching.